action unfolding here at the World Junior Ultimate Championships 2024 in Birmingham. The Moor Lane Complex hosts a talented display, and we have women's division action coming live at you. It's Canada versus France here in the women's division. These under-20 athletes are tying their shoelaces, getting their water bottles ready, and we are going to have ourselves a match, folks. Of course, a fantastic performance at the European youth level last year for the French. So how do you think they're going to fare against this Canadian team, Liam?
Well, both sides undefeated so far, 4 wins from 4. Very little to separate these two teams in the group. France are on top right now based on goal difference. They had that 15-7 win over New Zealand, while Canada was 59 of them. That's the kind of only benchmark I think we have at the moment. So both these teams neck and neck. We expect both of them to qualify from Pool B with the top 3 advancing, but your results carry over into that last power pool. So this is a really important game, because not only you may not think it matters who finishes top, but very likely this game will carry into that power pool and decide whether you make semi-finals or not. So this is actually a very important match for both teams.
Absolutely, Liam. I mean, it's definitely been, as you say, a fantastic start for both sides. There's been a huge amount of retention for the French team, and of course Forget, Zoe Forget, one of the superstars for this French women's programme. It's her second rotation at this under-20 level. She's been throwing since she was about 6 years old, because her father and her brother both play. You might know the name Enzo Forget from other tournaments, but you can see that left knee, she struggles through injury, but really great to have her alongside for this matchup. Yeah,
it was supposed to be on that mixed beach team that won the World Championships, but unfortunately couldn't with injury. So she's hoping to get a World Championships back here. Definitely in contention, this French side.
And we also have to talk about Maëlys Le Chasseur, the stats leader of this current pool and 4th overall, one of the 2 returning teammates from the Juniors Championship back in 2022. Alongside who else?
Brooklyn Cheer, 2 standouts on this team. Brooklyn, one of the captains, hailing from Quebec. So, you know, it's unusual. This is the Canadian side, one of the few who are able to understand French. There are definitely a lot of native French speakers on this side.
Well, Birmingham with the opening pull. Indeed, they could actually choose to play this entire game in French if they wanted to, though of course not all of these Canadian athletes are from the Quebecois region. So Shannon with a backhand into the path, nice and easy. Cheer, the captain. There's got to be a pun in there somewhere. Massive pressure on that reception for Bélanger. Looking around, happy to be patient. A little bit of flobble wobble on that Disc de Lyonnaise. Cheer again, going for a bit of point and shoot. Oh, nearly taken away by Forget. Really lovely patience from the Canadians. That one's going to take all the gas in the tank, though, to get there. And Maëlys Le Chasseur puts another on the stats board for Team Canada. Solid opening point.
Yeah, clean hold from Canada, just what they want. And they definitely like to orchestrate their offense, being very clear with their communication, pointing them where they wanted to go, and often just leading their receiver out into space. We have a light breeze here today in Birmingham. That was kind of a downwind score, and they were able to throw quite gracefully in the wind. You can see here, just very comfortable breaking the mark. Canada happy to put one out into space.
And celebrating in style as well. It's been really a wonderful day of ultimate here. Of course, we had a fantastic matchup between the USA and Italy in the previous game on the showcase field here. That one, I have to say, lots of people up in the volunteer hub did not expect the performance that the Italian women put up in that match. And of course, it was a fantastic final last year in Padova, where the French women, well, they shut the Italians out quite effectively, I'll be honest. Look out for other players as well, such as Birmingham, who had that opening pole. So playing double duty here for the French under-20 women's side. She's got loads of stats. I think she had 16 assists across the entire tournament last time out at the European level. So first look at the Canadian D-line. And of course, Lucas Lefebvre starting us off.
See them starting with that split stack to start things off.
Yeah, happy to have 4 players in the handling space at times. Camille Blanc, of course, in that number 17 shirt. Already a champion on sand. So, of course, there's lots of inclusion of these youth athletes back last year in LA, but that's a rare error. Angers unable to reclaim the disc. So an opportunity here for TC. Immediately they're going to go shooting towards the deep space. Fantastic first throw from Static, well snaffled up by Coppers. Looking for a bit of a reset action. Lucas Lefebvre just going to have to grind it all the way up there. Almost presses him into making yards. Trying to get these one-on-one battles. Oh, and it's a front cone win. First break for Canada, collected by Coy Brooks.
Incredible D-line offense there. Canada score on their first break opportunity to go 2-0 up. And I really liked how they set up their D-line offense there. Actually set up a side stack on the turn. Isolated Coppes just to get that deep shot off straight away. So they clearly have a tactic here when they get the disc back.
Well, a fast counter-attack can be very devastating, and at the moment we're getting a little bit of a wobble, I think, from the French women. Getting another look at this turnover here, just a miscue on the throw. Calmer conditions at this later game slot, though, than we had early in the day, for sure, Liam.
Davis orchestrating the D-line offense there, the spirit captain for this Canada side. Enriquez now with the pull for Canada, so a shaky start for France. And as you said, this result likely to carry over into the power pool, so a really important game. It'll come down to this game right now to make it to the semi-finals. We don't know yet, but I think it's a very important result for both teams.
Absolutely. Well, we've got sort of a tripart affair for the French side. They've got sort of 3 rosters of youth talent. Some it's their first year, some it's their third. Of course, plenty of Canadian Ultimate Championships as well amongst the pack in the players in white. Just the 2 returning from last time's roster. And of course, they were right up there in the final position. So, again, it's thrown to sort of a covered offensive there from Carolina Mabekon-Diasson. Big poach off into the lane, they exploit relatively quickly.
Yeah, looking for that isolation again with Coppes in that first play on the D-line offense.
Fantastic catch though on the underneath that nearly spoiled Henriquez. Lynn is taking the time. Well, a 3-0 lead here for Canada would be extremely challenging for the French women. There is pressure there, though, and that one just bounces off of the hands. Great layout from Steffi Mo, but not to be.
France really need to steady the ship here. Their O-line has been struggling. We see the split stack again.
Well, Baron just clearing out, leaving that underneath space. Can they squeeze through the reset? Nice lefty grab for Vespini. Pick up field. It's going to give us a roll back on the VT.
Yeah, we see them set up that split stack. The first person clears out on their sideline, leaving the under space for the deeper person in that split stack. We've seen them do that a number of times already in this game.
Vespini on the far sideline. There's Berger Mashi before in 15. Oh, massive flying effort from Coppes. Kind of doing a great job of shutting down the around reset movement. That one just about held onto by Mabekon-Diasson, who wants to have an undercut. Receives one in the form of Soline Baron. Lovely lead. Oh, fantastic layout grab, just shy. This one just to put the first on the board for the French women, but they have a campaign to go. Jitting and juttering around. Birmingham City throws for space, but the stall out will be called.
See Caroline there with the hero maker grab. That was an incredible layout to rescue the play.
So this is contested stall out, yeah.
Oliver Brown, our far sideline game advisor, just stepping in to aid the discussion. Birmingham just shoots to the back of the end zone and narrowly misses the waiting hands of Soline Baron.
Yeah, coming in a stall 8, so she's deciding she's just going to blade it to the back of the end zone. Better offense there from France, but still struggling to knock it in. You see, this is kind of a side stack again from Canada. Nearly all the players out of the way on the side of the field, just leaving Capes in a one-on-one matchup. She's not getting any help at the moment either.
Well, they're clearly trying to isolate in the space there and do get it to Capes. Now back to Mo, who's just happily in waiting. Love those high release dish. Now coming through. Oh, that's a wonderful throw. Silky smooth sidearm from Zoe Young.
Yeah, 3 on the bounce for this Canada side. Enriquez getting her goal. And just brilliant, brilliant tactics and execution from this Canadian side. The French in a bit in 6s and 7s at the moment, and maybe this is the first time they've had real defensive pressure. The first big test of the game. Canada have definitely settled into this one. We'd probably like to see France adjusting to the D-line offense there. You saw Capes just isolated. Clearly all the other Canadian players just hanging out, not even looking like they're about to do anything. Maybe having a help deep. Saw Capes there again. Just 2 or 3 times we've seen her now just get full run of the field.
We're going so we have to start on defense here. We just have to play tight.
You can see that. Sage words of advice coming in from Victoria Lamb, one of the assistant coaches, alongside Laura Story, and of course head coach Emma Seaborn, who was the assistant coach back in 2018 for the junior women's program, where they claimed that, got a bronze medal, sorry. And Seaborn also an accredited skiing coach, alpine skiing. Not surprised for a Canadian athlete, I'll be honest.
Actually played against Laura Story at Dublin's Golden Cup quite a while ago. Very fun coaching staff, we can say, the Canadians. And I'm sure they're enjoying themselves right now, off to the perfect start.
Absolutely ideal for them, really. A little bit of a gift there, slightly shorter pull.
Yeah, I think offside was signaled by the game advisor, but I'm not sure if they need to call it, essentially at the brick mark here.
Indeed, plus a couple extra.
You see the vert stack there, and they're kind of parting the Red Sea, the third cutter coming straight under.
Yeah, like the Moses style plays we used to get indoors in the UK of old. That one it's going to have to track down, nearly redeemed by Swan-Lacoste-Lefebvre. Might be a foul call, no. Signals no call. Does Birmingham just the breeze deciding he wants to get involved in this game. So starting off, Ngodui. All the way around. Oh, massive effort, but unfortunately just open waiting hands. But a foul call. Wolfie shoofing it on the far sideline. What do you reckon, Liam?
Yeah, it was an accepted foul. Some little contact there, and it affected the flight of the disc.
Well, McDonald on the far sideline, eyes on the end zone, and shoots through all the traffic. Goodness, how did that quite pay off? Oh, but that's a really lovely finishing shot. That's 4-0 to Team Canada. Ngodui with the assist.
Yeah, that shot straight through the traffic, and the French asleep on the wheel there. A few opportunities to get a block, but just didn't see it coming, and have caught this French side on the hop. The Canadians executing so well, they'll be delighted.
Well, after a slightly risky biscuit that seemed to go through all of the traffic, that was a really nice find. And France taking a timeout. Well, no surprises there, Liam. I probably would have taken one when they went 3-0 down, but can they do anything to turn the tide? France with a 4-point deficit against Canada.
For the first time in 8 years, the WFDF World Ultimate Championships are here. The best athletes from 23 countries across the globe are headed to Australia to represent their nations in a competition for pride, prestige, and gold. Multiworld is bringing you exclusive coverage of Worlds from the Gold Coast. See who is truly the best in the world. It all starts August 31st.
Well, France well in the sights of the Canadian D-line at the moment, conceding 4 on the trot in the opening stages of this women's ball game between the gold medalists from 2023, silver medalists from 2022 at the under-20s division. France coming out on offense. Lacoste Lefebvre, Mabekon Diasson connecting. Oh, and just a confusion there. You can see Camille Blanc pulling out of the cut. And the Canadians look to try and switch things around. A bit clustered and flustered. Oh, that's so close to getting the disc back. You see the hand slapping the leg in frustration. But Chin looking a little bit stuck. Now Enrique. Oh, that's low, but it's just going to hit the dust. Unfortunate miss there, but a gasp of oxygen for the French.
Yeah, and they needed Hannah, and you know, there are some star players out there that have had some unforced errors, and that's not what they need right now. And they're just a bit flustered, as I said. Haven't really been tested in quite some time. We're talking about years, really. This French side have dominated a lot of the games they've played, but getting a real test here.
Oh, that's a huge effort from Copes. Doing a full roll to try and get that one that hung in the air. Mabekon Diasson lashing it against the breeze. Forget flaps to the deck, but that one's just not got enough juice.
There's a frustrated throw, and I'd like to see France here again. We're seeing this side stack with a lot of Canadian players just getting out of the way.
They need to surround it, don't they?
You look at Forget there, is at the back, could help a lot with the deep, you know. Or Blanca, someone peel off there and just make them do something different.
Well, an injury call there. Unfortunate moment for Zoe Young. Hopefully she'll be able to look after that left ankle. Spoke to the medical personnel for TC ahead of this game, and most of the roster at the moment, as you'd love to see in the early stages of the tournament, still in full health.
So it's Lyonnais who's going to come on as the injury sub and pick up this one.
So Copes found taking that matchup of Zoe Forget. Just about squeezing that through, but too much pressure, and Forget will celebrate her participation in that turnover. Lacoste Lefebvre is playing her ultimate for Yaka this club season. The big Narcisa Sec powerhouse, but again, these Canadian players really winning the underneath battle, just popping out from behind the cape to smack the disc away. And again, the French O-line having to play defense, but Forget coming through. There's going to be a foul call
Forget is shaking her head already.
Well, you have to make the calls as you see them. It might be friendly fire. It looks...
Ok. Moi, je pense que j'ai vraiment touché le disque et je sens pas ton doigt.
Would a rules clarification be helpful here?
Sure.
So if the disc is still in her hand, it forms part of her body. So if you hit the disc before she's released it, then it would be a foul on her.
I don't know. I felt your fingers on my hand, like right here.
Okay, so foul accepted.
Okay.
Accepted? Okay. It's okay. Thanks.
Okay, disc is hit.
Well, there we go. They were started speaking in French.
Was that French? I thought they were speaking Canadian, no?
Eh? Well, the French women now looking to try and cling on and continue putting the pressure on. Fantastic high grab for Henriquez. Round big bed from Blanc. So much activity on the marks now. Lyonnaise through. Toes. Oh, that might be a little bit too high, you know, and it is even for Kylie Koppes. Can't catch a break in the end zone during this point, that's due. But she's gotten herself available as an option, but the throw just hasn't been quite worth it.
Yeah, but Canadians really tiring out the French superstars here and this O-line. Have made them really work for it in the start of this game. And then we see the split stack again, and they're quite far away.
Well, this is the best performance they've put at recovery for this French O-line. 6 turnovers total so far in this point. Can they make this the last one? Oh, that's just going to tip all out of the hands of Blanc. You can see just the dismay. Maybe thinking if she could have gone up with 2 hands just to secure. Great handle of defense from Mavacon-Diasson. Just that last final turn loses it, and this time it's perfectly weighted for Kylie Koppes, who's ready and waiting. And you can see it all on the faces of these French women, Liam. They are not really in this.
The Canadians are here to play right now. 5-0 for Canada. I'm sure there's some people just woke up in Canada to cheer on this, and it's a perfect start for them, enjoying their breakfast and enjoying this game. And you can see the French getting frustrated, maybe a little tired. A lot of the same players have been on the pitch for the last few points and just haven't been able to score. Incredible performance so far from Koppes.
Well, it's really interesting, Liam. I think there's been some real miscommunications in the French offense. You've seen a lot of these underneath passes where I think the players upfield don't really feel like they're close, like they're far enough away from their matchups, and so they bail out of the cuts, and of course the defenders keep going.
That's it, they're not used to maybe getting shut down. I think for this whole tournament, they cut under, they get free, they cut deep, they get free, and suddenly, you know, not every cut's going to get free, and people are still throwing to them, there's hesitation. I think it's got to get used to, okay, we might have to cut a couple times, maybe the first cut doesn't get free, we're going to have to go again, we're going to have to reset. And just kind of getting used to playing at a much, much better defense. You know, I think that's an adjustment they have to make, and they haven't. And then they've just been, I think, tired as well in the last possession.
It's also really interesting, isn't it? Because on beach as a surface, and we've already talked about some of the beach success that these some of these French athletes on the O-line have had. Of course, it's really easy to get open on beach. You usually only have to make the 1 cut. So Swan Lacoste-Lefebvre with a gift here, starting from centre field. Bit of a rotation round off the lines. Guibert Cholet might have to get that one back from Baron. With the pick upfield. So reset. Mavacon-Diasson still staying on the pitch. Through to Lacoste-Lefebvre. Going all the way around, no, not quite. Great shutdown on the mark there from Grace McDonald. Now Lacoste-Lefebvre. Oh, just a battle to the front cone, and at long last, the drought is ended. Running to the front cone, Maëlys Troyot with the goal.
And the French crowd go wild. They really needed that one, Hannah. as you said, stop the bleeding. And try and reset them now. We see the penguin celebration there.
Absolutely. Well, that's number one. And now it's time to see the D-line of the French come out for the first time so far in this game. Of course, we started with an offensive hold. So there's been 4 breaks. And the campaign starts from here for the French women to try and get themselves back in.
And I also think, you know, again, likely these two teams make it to the power pool. I think that's a pool of 6 with the top 4 making semi-finals. I think there could be a 3-way tie in that. You know, so, you know, goal difference could be a big thing. You know, France could bounce back. And again, this game isn't over, but I'm saying every point does matter. Whether they're 5-1 up or 5-1 down, you got to thinking this is a really important game.
Absolutely, it's all about staying in Pool C tomorrow. These teams have both done lots of great things to get themselves there. So a zone look from the French women, trying to cause a bit of confusion. Oh, that's a big old ripper. That's never coming in bounds. Sails well over the target. Lovely idea. There was plenty of separation downfield for Shannon, but not to be.
The field's longer in Canada. She definitely ripped that one out the back. If you're going to turn it over, do it by throwing it really far. You know?
I mean, Maëlys Lechausseau has had some fantastic moments so far in this tournament, so we'll forget that one. We'll have a short memory. Forget, though, not forgetting to make a fantastic grab on the far sideline. Lacoste Lefebvre in power position, no one going into the deep space from the stack. What a shame. One of our growing elite throwers here in Europe. Now just sitting on the break side. Beautiful, silky smooth to Forget. Now Chaubeau seeking an option. Going to dish it back to Lacoste Lefebvre. Tiny collision in the stack because there is a big old poach off of Chaubeau every so often, sitting in that front of stack position. Now Monaghat. This is much more smooth and considered. Still a few 2 passes, huge effort, but cannot steal the disc away from Crozat. Monaghat again. Lacoste Lefebvre starting to find her groove here. Big old poach in the lane. Who's available? Who's free on the break side? Can they find Guénon, who is not marked? Forget now. Nice to see that big poach get a bit more active. She's there and available. She's now directly behind, picks up the mark and drags it through. High post box. Oh, that's a really lovely high release. There's gonna be a stall out that they'll chat through. Lyonnais on the mark.
En fait, moi je lance et j'ai l'impression qu'à la fin c'est 9, 10, que tu accélères un petit peu à la fin. Ouais.
So just to clarify, you're saying that you think you said 10 before she released, and you're saying that you think she fast counted the last part of the stall?
Entre 9 et 10, j'ai l'impression que ça s'accélère un peu.
So you'll hold your call?
Yeah.
And you are contesting?
Yeah.
Okay, so disc come back. Before you start, give me a chance to go off the field. We're going to be stalling 8. So
when's Ultiworld getting subtitles, Hannah?
Pardon?
I said, when's Ultiworld getting subtitles?
You have to learn. Oh, that's a really nice idea, and just about redeemed by Lacoste Lefebvre. She's there when they need them. Oh my goodness. Well, that's a break back. 1 of 4 required to put us back on serve here, Liam.
And the French are back in business. It took a rescue grab to get their first break of the game. That's just what they needed. That is upwind as well. So back and forth, you know, the French were very rattled in the opening quarter of this game, but got that first break, giving something of the France to cheer about.
Absolutely, Liam. Well, let's get another look at that huge bid. I think that might have been Brooklyn Cheer, you know, by virtue of we've not got that many folks on this Canadian roster with a 0 on their back. In fact, it's either Coy Brooks or Brooklyn Cheer. They're the only players that have the O. But the audacity for the French to not only put their first hold in for the game, but then immediately break back, starting to work their way through the gears here in this one.
And Zoe Forget is staying out there. She's been on so many points in this game. I think they're happy to leave her out there and play deep in the zone.
I mean, she's an animal. She will really just keep going, sprinting her way through this field to try and get her team to victory. Cheer in the central pocket. Across to Russell. Canada choosing 3 handlers back, and that one just behind the cup here. Although it's sort of an arrowhead, that's going to have way too much loft on it. Can she get there? No, the bid is a tiny bit late for Bélanger, and they're going to immediately pick up to try and throw and go. Lacoste Lefebvre as the pack of Canadians applies, but that's another break in a row, my goodness. A foul called, a push off from the stack. Brooklyn Cheer. Goals on RL Perez.
Votre joueuse, elle me suit, et en partant, je suis vraiment comme ça, et c'est du coup, bah, peut-être qu'elle se prend mon bras, mais genre moi j'ai les bras collés, et quand j'ai vraiment les bras comme ça.
So she thinks, like, when she changed direction, like, she was in her space, and you came in her space.
Okay. From my perspective, I was like moving with you, I guess. But like still, I was in my space kind of thing, and then you like pushed off of my feet.
I don't feel my hand like this.
Okay. I don't know. I'm gonna call foul.
Okay. Contested foul. The disc is going back. Okay, saying full.
So Merit Trapp, our GA on this near sideline getting involved, hearing their voice for the first time. So the French women. Oh, and it's just acres of space, exactly the same player. This time Rafael Perez throws on the cloak of invisibility and just appears in the end zone, wild and free. So our French stats person, Tom Maltier, is very happy next to me in the booth, Liam, and I'm just happy we're getting a game now. This is exciting.
Yeah, for all the neutrals out there, happy to see that one for France. Another break, the zone working well. As I see, this lofty swing pass just caught the wind, and I almost thought France were going to bang it in straight away, but they have to look at Perez twice, who does so well just to bounce there. You can see Cheer getting suckered into the break side, looking to maybe poach, and left the door open for Perez.
So this time, a timeout called perhaps by the Canadians. I'm not sure exactly who decided to take a break here. I think probably the Canadian coaches, though. If you're the French, you don't want to stop the momentum right now, having gone 3 on the trot to respond to that 5-0 deficit. And this is now a very different vibe indeed. So is the timeout going to pay off, or will the French go on a huge break of runs? Don't go anywhere, because we will find out as this first half continues. French women trying to chase down that 5-0 deficit. They've already got 2 breaks in the bank. Can they get to the 4 required to put us on serve? The zone coming out again. Low one, swipes through to Russell. But they can't quite make the jailbreak, and that's a bit of an error there. Well, this is a tale of two teams trading fates at the moment. As Lacoste Lefebvre goes to pick up. Deep stack with Perez starting from the front. Surprisingly open as a result. Montserrat, or Montserrat even, looking for options, but just negative yards taken. Oh, and just a drop miss there. Frustrating clear from Crozat. Now Cheer shakes her head at what she sees downfield, looking for something different. Oh, fantastic handler shut down there. The agility from Agathe Crozat. But of course, a lot of poaching leaves players in the deep space free. Oh, that's a really nice little bit of work there. Cheer brings it in. The captain stops the flow before it can become over-controlled.
Yeah, eventually finding a way through that French zone. I think France will be happy with how they play defense in that point. I love how sometimes the handlers are just part of the zone, but sometimes they shut down the handler marks. Done very well, but Canada finding a way around the corner. We see that unforced error, and that's what France is trying to do, make them throw lots of passes, but an unforced error again from France gifts it back, and this is the throw that got through the zone. You know, kind of that short and talk doesn't allow Forget to sweep in and take it, and then a nice bounce from Cheer.
That's how we get rid of it.
It's one of those conditions where you really need to watch the disc all the way into your hands, especially knowing how many unforced errors there have been in this game.
And Brooklyn Cheer is actually going to be playing with the open team, Ignite, I think the junior open team. One of the standouts on this women's team's roster.
It's the beautiful thing about open, Liam. It doesn't matter how you identify, you're welcome there. So, solid pull from the Canadian D-line. The French now need to just steady themselves once more. Pick will bring the disc back to Anna Bergamaschi.
Yeah, again, France trying to run through their pull play of first in the stack going to the side, second and third person coming down the middle. Don't think the pick affected that first pass, so I imagine the disc will stay where it is.
Blanche Bardin there in the number 3, one of the
reposition to avoid repicks.
Double duty. She was at the WJUC, had a relatively quiet campaign there, just the 6 goals, then tore Padova open. So relatively quiet offense so far. Bardin on the far side. Through to Bergamaschi. Cheeky inside forehand. Nice splat on the service delivery. Mabécan Diasson now getting involved. Starting not from the handler set in this point. Nissen. Sibling, of course, of Jacques Nissen. Also a returner from Joint Juniors 2 years ago. Oh, that one a little bit floaty, but well held in the positioning from Mabécan Diasson. Sits and just watches, follows the throw through, but well held. Switch off on the mark for the Canadians. Now Nissen trying to grind through. Foul call immediately accepted by Maria Dodd. So a full 10 now for Mabécan Diasson. That hammer's got to be tempting, but they'll just grind it on the line. Great effort from Steffi Moe to try and stop it, but it's Toyo or Dave.
Toyo just fighting her way to the open side. They've been fantastic at France. Looking to isolate some more athletic players. Interesting no Forget or Blanc on that O-line from France. Perhaps saving them to try and get some breaks back. And that was, I think that's a clean hold for France.
It is. We've only had 3 clean holds the entire game. And now if we didn't have the stats on both of our screens, Liam, would you have guessed that the 3 clean holds, 2 of them would have been the French women?
No, yeah, they had a very shaky start, but have really settled the ship now, and we're getting the game we probably expected when we saw this on the streaming schedule. You know, the best team in Europe over the last few years, France women's, and then Canada, a powerhouse of ultimate. So it was always going to be an exciting matchup, and a very bizarre start with France going 5-0 down, but they've bounced back now.
And there's still plenty of game clock remaining as well for them to punch in a couple more breaks, but TC, great synchronicity. And cheers on the near sideline, O-line. I have to say, the North American cheer game always continues to impress me, no matter what age division we're commentating. Good pressure from the match coverage initially from the French women. Those last-minute windows do tend to open, though. Cheer. Standing head above the slightly bent mark of Camila Chobot. And a foul on the throat. Mark even. Little head tilt from Cheer, but just throws a reset. Oh, that nearly spoiled a little bit. Forget catch. Just a little bit hesitant. Lovely gainer. Fakes, throws, and that will work. Squeezing it down the sideline to Lillian Shannon. But it'll be good enough.
Shannon putting on the jet boosters there. Carrying off down the open side to get that goal. I saw Forget mark one of the Canadian handlers. I'd probably to see her downfield taking a matchup in the deeper space. Again, having Blanc and Forget on the D-line at the moment, the French, so you probably wanted to get some blocks out of them.
Well, Forget does have quite a large wingspan, so sometimes you do switch that up in order to make it more difficult for the power handlers to go to work. But Lillian Shannon there. And all of these athletes enjoying some rare black country sunshine. We're being blessed here at the Fields Complex at Moor Lane. It's not normally this warm or this summery when you play in July a game of Frisbee in the UK.
I think a game of Frisbee anywhere in the world, the World Championships, usually cursed our sport, but...
It's all right, Liam. We already had the thunderstorms on day one.
Get them out of the way early. Yeah, the sun is shining here in Birmingham. We have a cracking game here in the women's division.
So the 17-year-old Enriquez getting us started for this next point. One shy of the half of the Canadians, so a break here would be huge. Although not quite that buy one, get one free affair, because they did start this game on offense. Parent trying to attempt the deep shot, but it's the simplicity of the under to Vespini. Oh, Mabicon Diasson, though, can't quite get a claws into that one. And an opportunity here for the Canadians to do damage again. Big fakes from Toos. Again, it's upfield Copes. I think you just force Copes towards the disc at this point if you're downfield, no matter where she runs to.
That was the same play they've drawn up every time, and they're picking it up from their D-line offense.
Daves through. How on earth did the magnet hands of Jacquetin keep hold of that one? Now looking to just step and reset. Grinding towards the front cone. That's lovely movement. Oh, but distraction on the far sideline. Mabicon Diasson coming in. And Ryan Young is a little bit distracted. Oh, that's a really lovely gainer downfield. Vespini trying to stretch it further. Baron working with Maillard, the player who just quickly moved the disc all the way downfield. This end. Oh, that's a little bit too late though. The adjustment doesn't come, and a great block for Tan.
Any guesses what this Canadian D-line offense is going to do?
I think they're going to try and isolate Coppers downfield and throw her a huck.
And all the other French defenders just not interested.
It is strange, isn't it, Liam? Well, maybe they'll get to talk about this during the next point. Anytime Coppers is in isolation on this near sideline, but a battle of great throws as well in this point now. Can the Canadians take half? Trying to point to that forehand side. Mauvais Candiasson again, just a little bit of spook D there.
Yeah, she's done that twice, just making her presence known and distracting the eyes of the receiver. So not getting a hand on it, but just enough to distract the player.
Bit of a slower start here for the French women now. Trying to get things moving. Delaire on the far sideline. Mauvais Candiasson now. Has Vespini. Then through, Maya. Oh, love that switch, exploiting the defenders, getting distracted by the deeper space, but that one's going to spill away from the Romaine Delaire.
I think just a tired throw there. You can see her putting her hands on her knees after that one. This time it's Enriquez, actually, I think it's going to be the ISO.
Oh, is that a hand block? That definitely didn't come out in the correct manner. There's going to be a foul call. Noémie Guibert-Charlet and Kylie Coppers getting a bit, but they're going to talk it through themselves. No need for the GAs. Let's get another look for the fans back home anyway.
Yes, I think there was a hand block. Coppers very much initiating the contact, I think, there. The French player not even seeing what was going on.
And a timeout being called by Mauvais Candiasson. I like that, Liam. This was becoming a bit of a long, drawn-out point. Another one with already 6 turnovers for the French O-line.
Yeah, I think this one very much a tired timeout. And I understand that. They're looking a little more tired than the Canadians there, so getting a bit of a breather.
So we've talked a bit about the overall format here, Liam. Let's get another look at the standings so far in this women's division.
Yeah, I think the United States have been the most impressive so far, but that was a much tighter game against Italy, a lot tighter than people expected. So the Italians are here to play ball. I think those 4 you see at the top of the 2 top of each pool, France, Canada, United States, Italy. Won't be surprised if we see them in the semi-finals, but New Zealand have looked all right. Great Britain have done well. And we're going to see 6 teams advance to the power pool. It's been straight to semi-finals, so as I said, you know, this result is going to carry into that power pool, and you maybe want to get an ideal semi-final, maybe you want to avoid USA. Again, you could end up with a 3-way tie, maybe with Italy, France, and Canada. I wouldn't be surprised to see that as well, so every point matters in this game.
Absolutely. Well, we know that the other side of this division has already been finished up. You can always tell because it's in bold on the results.wfdf.sport/WJUC. Massive thanks as always to all of our scorekeeping staff and the tournament staff, keeping that fully done up. So it's going to be USA, Italy and GB advancing to that power pool stage in Pool C. But who will take the highest spot here from these 2 teams? Mauvais Candiasson looking for an option on the break side, surely. Lovely throw. Slices all the way diagonally. Nearly gets causing some traffic jams though in front of the disc. Finds a space though. Oh, Mauvais Candiasson! Like a spear, a juggernaut through. Now looking for an option on the reset. Has one. Oh, and just goes straight for it. That's the kind of action we saw her have in Padova last year. Mauvais Candiasson, whether it's an assist or a goal, she's just finding her groove now. Whereas it struggles to start for many of these French athletes, Liam.
She is pumped up now. She knows she's had 1 or 2 errors early on in the game and wants to make amends, and had a beautiful shake and bake there at the front of the end zone to get free. And it is hot out here, and the French players are working hard. The fans enjoying it here on the sideline. And I love this little dump and give and go. Just drops the shoulder.
Would you say that's an easier way to kind of move as a handler rather than going for that more around reset?
Yeah, I just liked how just give and go and kind of drop the shoulder. As soon as you throw to this, you're often at an advantage. Your mark is standing on the break side when they want to defend the open. So you just go straight away, as she did there, it's a very easy way to score. I think sometimes when you're tired, you're always trying to look for someone down the field, but you got to take ownership sometimes as a handler and get for yourself in the end zone. Should be happy to get a break off the pitch. I think that, you know, it is hot actually here in Birmingham. A lot of points with a grind. It's trying to get your O-line out of the sun and onto the sideline as quick as possible. As you can see, both teams looking a little tired at times. I've seen offside signal many a time from game advisors, but most of the pulls kind of landing in around the brickmark anyway.
Well, it is tricky. I remember 14 years ago playing the same tournament in Heilbronn, but there we go. Talk about your own playing career and made look very silly by Erel Perez. Getting a big block in a pivotal moment here to again try and extend this first half. Has Lacoste Lefebvre poached off, but it's Camille Blanc. French women really starting to polish up their performance here. Perez, little corkscrew in the near space. Forget clearing out, and a foul call immediately accepted by Valérie Lyonnaise, one of the francophones on this team. Oh, but that's a massive block for Brooklyn Cheer.
Yeah, loving that matchup. Blanc against Cheer, two of the most athletic players you'll see in this division, and it is Cheer who wins that one.
Taking real ownership here now. Shannon throwing a beautifully weighted disc ripped down by Hazel Prairie. Oh, and a casual dish. Bourget tries and a casual head spike. That will close off the first half for Canada, 8-5.
What a way to end the second half. Incredible from Canada. That was such an acrobatic grab and then an incredible catch under pressure. Bourget throwing the kitchen sink into there. We just can't stop these Canadians.
Well, Cheer there delivering her team something to scream about for sure. What a commanding performance, but you have to remember though, of course, the French women will start out on offense in the second half.
What incredible form on the layout there from Cheer. And this as well, this was a difficult catch as she has such great body control. And a little rounds the corner there and catches Forget.
Is that push pass? Because if it is, I love it. Hazel Prairie, who taught you how to play? Give them a pat on the back. The audacity throwing push passes at Worlds, we love it. Well, looking at the numbers from this game, Liam, what pops out to you?
Yeah, only 2 clean holds each, so similar there, but I think just the breaks gotten by Canada, I think that D-line offense of Canada has been very effective, looking to isolate Coppes the whole time. They've a very set structure and have been able to get those conversions. That's 4 out of 12, just 4 break chances total for France.
Well, we're going to go down to a sideline interview with head coach of the Canadian women, Emma Seaborn, who just had her athletes behind her screaming, "We love you, Emma." Well, you're clearly doing a good job in keeping your athletes happy, Emma. Fantastic first performance. What were the key things you think to that 5-0 lead?
Well, we came into the game just saying, let's take it point by point, moment by moment. So we're not trying to get ourselves up 5-0. We were just trying to get 1 point at a time. And so that messaging, that energy obviously worked for people. Those are just one thing at a time, how we're getting through this game.
Seems like your D-line offense is a very set structure, and literally looking for Coppes on that first cut has been very, very effective. How good has she been in that first half?
Oh man, Kylie is just a powerhouse, a workhorse, and I'm so impressed with she keeps making those cuts. So she's gonna keep making those cuts because she can just run forever. That's what we love about her.
So if Coppes is going to keep making those cuts, what are you going to give us differently? What adjustments would you like to see in the second half?
We need to clean up our end zone a little bit. A couple times where we're getting there, but we're not finishing. So that's going to be our goal. But again, we're just working it point by point, one at a time.
Well, that is how you build a house, brick by brick. Well, thank you ever so much, Emma, and good luck for the second half.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, putting on a show for the Canadian fans at home.
Well, if they can bring us to the second half just in the same fashion, it's going to be quite the big scoreline for the Canadians. But the French are on the comeback. Canada leading 8-5.
For the first time in 8 years, the WFDF World Ultimate Championships are here. The best athletes from 23 countries across the globe are headed to Australia to represent their nations in a competition for pride, prestige, and gold. Ultiworld is bringing you exclusive coverage of Worlds from the Gold Coast. See who is truly the best in the world. It all starts August 31st.
Well, Canada women all smiles coming into this second half. They have opened up a huge lead that the French women are now trying to slowly chip away at. 5-0 deficit to open us up. Canadian glory, lovely to have you with us if you're joining us, no matter what time zone. Here over the West Coast, back home for the Canadians, it's very early in the morning. Liam?
Yeah, I'm sure they've been enjoying their pancakes watching this game. Incredible first half from Canada, have been really dominant. Let's see what the French team have in store for us, but it will be France coming out on offense, going downwind, so a chance to catch up to Canadians straight away.
Indeed, make it 8-6. I mean, you have to say that the French women, when they've had their opportunities on defense, they have been very ruthless. They've converted half of their break opportunities, and they've both been perfect conversions. So they've had 4 opportunities to get the break, and both of the ones they've punched in have been swift counter-attacks. So see if perhaps that might feature more highly in the second half. Of course, the French team in their huddle, not wanting to talk to us at the halftime. They've got their eyes on this one. So Nissen starting us off. A bit of double cut action. Mauvais Garçon tempted by Forget. That's a great behind the back grab for Baron though. Nissen being given a big poach off, making that life easier for Mebek Ondiason. Although she's got a very tall matchup in the form of Enriquez. Massive effort. It's probably the third bid for Mo. And across Lefebvre. A nice move. Now Forget. This is pretty sure this is, apart from Perez, this is going to be a full 7 touch for the eventual goal. And Forget just dancing into the wide open door in the front of the end zone.
Yeah, good to see the French players enjoying themselves there. A beautiful clean hold from the French side to kick things off. That's what they wanted. The big question is, can they get the breaks back? Forget looking a little happier than she was in the first half. Got scored on the last point, so she's able to make amends there.
Wow, she uses it as fuel for the fire, I'm sure.
Yeah, players been on O and D lines. Fakes the spike here.
I love a fake spike. It's a great vibe. See Forget getting a little bit of advice from one of the joint captains of this French team. We've got Deborah Le Calvet and Christophe Delpech.
Yeah, Deborah Le Calvet offering some advice there, and it's those tactical adjustments they'll need to get back into this game. I think for her it's been trying to manage her own fitness levels. Unfortunately, players had a few injuries, so they've been doing that well so far.
Indeed. It's actually the interesting fact that Forget says about herself in her playing career is that she's always injured. But hopefully she can bring some hurt to her opponents. Not in a physical way, just an emotional way as she tries to get her team some breaks here. That's a fantastic backhand from Brooklyn Cheer. Big effort from Perez, just trying to close the door. I think we might get a foul call out of this one, Liam. No, turnover signalled. Hazel Peary, fair fight in the end zone. Nothing more you could ask of her.
Yeah, I think the disc was already gone by the time the contact came from the French player. I think she just ends up running over as she made the layout bid, but I think it was too late at that stage.
Well, another opportunity here. We talked about how ruthless this D-line has been. Although it looks very similar to the O-line. French pulling some power lines early doors to make sure they can keep things. It's great switching off on the stack. Camille Blanc recenters to Monera. And a collision between Cheer and Blanc. Immediately Cheer accepts.
I think just the tangling of the legs there. And Cheer, definitely someone that likes to hound the lane, look for those poach opportunities, switching opportunities.
Oh, okay, so
yeah.
Go back to 0.
Yep, Stahl's coming in on 1.
Oh, that one just thrown behind the back of Camille Blanc. And a golden opportunity here. The Canadians are just punching an easy one. Oh, it's going to go all the way up. And huge layout bid for Camille Blanc. Fantastic. Well, I'm loving that matchup. Blanc's going to take an injury sub, though, so we're not going to get any more of her facing up against Brooklyn Cheer. What a shame.
Blanc goes full airplane mode there, racking up the air miles, had to go, looked like she was out of the contention, had to make up these yards and just throws her body at it. Does so well to make the block and not initiate contact.
So Lucas Lefebvre surveying her options, very deep stack indeed, so it just throws the negative yards. Residing in Callahan County. These Canadian athletes, of course, more than capable of getting them. That one's a little bit wonky, but finds Guinon. Fair enough. Forget with the around. Not too much action coming out of the stack. The French trying to hold their energy.
Yeah, quite a tightly packed stack at the moment. You hear pick being called. I'm not surprised.
So back in action. Oh, that's a spicy little biscuit. Forget coming strong and through with that spear-like hand. Crozat goes up high and it's ripped down by Zoe Forget, and that is another break to add to the tally of the French. They're one shy of leveling us back up, but of course they're gonna need that extra one, having started this game on defense.
Forget with the fancy footwork. I think that's 2 goals in a row for her. 1 on the O-line, 1 on the D-line. And, you know, getting France back into this game. Look at her immediately give going. She had that separation. And not afraid to get up and catch that one. And she is enjoying the second half. The French team pumped up now, and nothing more dangerous than the French side with a bit of flair in their footstep.
And they are happy to run through these shorter lines. Are the French women then? Obviously, it's a long tournament, week-long championship, finals on Saturday. Sorry, we started on Sunday. But at the moment, it seems that the French women management are happy to let their stars shine. Because as you already mentioned, Liam, this game really means quite a lot for the seeding coming into power pool stages.
Yeah, and Forget staying out there. I think with both of these teams, a lot of the other games they've had so far this tournament haven't been that competitive, let's be honest. So I think they've had a chance to rest maybe some of the stars, and they can afford then to leave them out on the field here. I have a feeling this one's going to go down to the wire.
Well, that's what we want. The French leveling us up to almost even Stevens.
We saw a side stack there from Canada looking for Copes, like the D-line often does, but it's a zone look from France. That side stack was not going to work.
Well, I think the Canadians might be rotating through their lines actually, because we do have some of the stars we're used to seeing coming out on defense now taking on offensive fields. Zoe Young turning all the way around, finally finding opportunity for Coy Brooks. Oh, that one nearly taken away. I think that might be a strip, Liam.
That really excessively pulled out of the cookie jar there, and she said, no, that's mine.
Okay, so we've got a foul call. You're looking for a translator?
No, I want if someone have another point of view.
Oh, another perspective.
Je sais pas trop si je l'embarque avant.
I think what happened, I caught it like, you're running into the space, I had it with my arms, and then your hand was, you scooped it, and then you took. Elle avait, ouais, c'est ça.
Mais moi, je voulais juste savoir si quelqu'un avait un autre point de vue, enfin, est-ce que quelqu'un avait vu quelque chose?
She just wants to know if somebody else saw it.
Okay.
Can I ask someone?
You can. The TV cameras have already checked it. They don't have a clear perspective on who got it first. I could see both of you. I couldn't tell if you had stopped the disc before she grabbed it. That would suggest that it's too close to tell. And in that case, we should treat it as contested. Okay. Yeah. What was the stall? Was there a stall? Okay, so we're going to come in on 2.
Hard to know if Zoe Young had control of that. I think that was the debate there. So she gets it this time anyway.
Now Perez in her 3rd junior level rep in the under-20s division for Team France. These Canadians just happily swinging it, looking a little bit frantic at times.
It's almost like a 4-person wall here from France up at the top.
Yeah, well, there isn't too much to worry about when you've got the likes of Zoe Forget running your deep space. You can see Copes just hanging out on that far sideline, just off of our camera view, but there's going to be the block generated by that wall of four, Liam.
And I loved how they called zone against that line, because this is kind of the D line of Canada. They like to play a side stack. The zone completely disrupting that, so working out for France here.
Forget. Oh, has a late option for Perez, and that is another break on the board. We're back on serve, folks. What a turnaround for France women.
8-8, Hannah, 8-8. The atmosphere electric here in Birmingham. They were 5-0 down, but the French never give up. Wow. At least not a frisbee, anyway. And they're all tied here.
Well, I think it's the Canadians wearing white today, Liam, but they're not giving up either. A great adjustment there. The step through, not even really a step through, just the wind almost pushing that disc into the chest of Esther Perez. Ariel Perez, sorry.
Forget has assisted the last point scored previous to Perez. Such a tyrant in the end zone. This matchup living up to the hype now, Hannah.
Absolutely, Liam. And they're going to stay on the pitch. They're just going to run through their best 7. Well, I think maybe their best 11 at this current stage of the game. But it is all about team management and team performance. Even at the juniors level, you have to understand that when someone's having a great game, you might not get on the pitch that much. But Canada running relatively open line still. Lyonnaise. Little jump up there from Cheer. All the way around. That was going to sail too far for Hazel Peary, who's staying on the ground for a worryingly long time. Well, that's a relief. She has come off on her own steam, calling the injury though. Hazel Peary, massive effort for that layout.
And momentum shifting towards France now as they have the disc and could take the lead for the first time in this game.
Ryan Young taking to the field to replace her teammate, who hopefully will be fine. Statsman Tom getting excited next to us. He's a French fan. Are you watching this one? Or are we cheering for Canada? All leveled up at 8 apiece. This would be a huge moment. 3 on the bounce. Pick up field. I'm not sure that impacted the work between Mabé-Candiasson and Lucas Lefebvre.
Yeah, that French stack at times has just been a little bit tight. Not allowing those cutting channels. Didn't affect the play, so. And Blanc wants to get started before the disc is touched in.
Bobin coming out of the stack. Or Blanc even. All quite far away. Mabé-Candiasson sitting well into that pivot. Lucas Lefebvre just using the speed and power to drive towards the line. Pick elsewhere again.
Yeah, that favors the Canadians, giving them a chance to read what's happening, kind of stopping the flow of the French team. So need to do more France here to avoid those picks.
Making space for one teammates is all part of it. Perez, who really is having a fantastic game, generating turnovers and getting involved repeatedly on the offense. Oh, that's such an interesting break. Can Lucas Lefebvre get under it? She does! Leaving the visor on the floor and calling an injury. Well, that's allowed. That was absolutely huge.
A sensational grab. Grabbing onto the rims of redemption there. Went up the first time and throwing everything at it. Getting the disc, losing her visor, and that one, a bit of a whiplash on the catch, but keeping it alive here for the French.
She'll be replaced by Margot Nissen, who immediately uses those fresh legs. But it's going to be Blanc through. And there, Camille Blanc, a pick call from Cheer. Might bring that one back.
Longcliffe's a little surprised that the pick was called, but she'll go back.
Also, I heartily apologise if I burst anyone's eardrums, getting excited about Lacoste Lefebvre's explosive layout to redeem possession.
I'm sure all her Yaka teammates were doing the same.
Yeah, Yaka and Yakitos all over the world. Oh, but it's the same section of the end zone. This time it's Margot Nissen going up line, but it will work just as effectively. That is 3 on the bounce and 5 breaks total for the French women. They've nudged in front for the first time after taking a battering in the first half, 5-0. Wow.
Way to turn it around, France. Vive la France there in this one. They take the lead now in the business end of this match. Looks like Canada are calling a timeout.
Well, let's talk about some of the impact players for France. Obviously, an amazing layout grab there from one of the caps, but Carolina Mabécon-Diasson really rising and finding her moments here during the mid and late sections of this game. Real distributor, we know about her already. Fantastic performance in Padova last year for her first cap for the French nation. She's just been everywhere on the pitch, hasn't she, Liam?
Yeah, she's been fantastic. Said she stopped playing Ultimate for a while, but after seeing her teammates lose the final to US Women, she said, no, I'm coming back. There's life in her yet in her Ultimate career, and that's just a peachy throw to Nissen to take the lead. And, you know, they were 5-0 down. Many people would have said, would take a magnanimous performance from the likes of Caroline to get back in this one, and that's just what they've done, the French. They've really tightened up their lines. So many players playing 3-4 points in a row, but have scraped their way back into this one. Let's see what Canada can do. This is the first time they've really been tested. The first time I imagine they've been behind all tournament long. Let's see what they're made of.
Well, stern stuff, I'm sure. We might get a couple of flirts of power lines of Canada's own. They've been relatively consistent throughout the course of this match with their line management, but we have only got 25 minutes and change left of regulation time. Of course, cap rules here, the usual +1, so we'll play out if neither team can reach 15 points cap before the game expires. As you'd expect, finish the point at 1, place the new tally. Mabécon-Diasson, of course, a family athlete. It's a big old pull. He's going to roll around. Not quite out the sideline, though, so Lyonnaise will pick up on the near sideline. And another look at this French zone that has caused some issues. And most importantly, stops that isolation set play. Not Copes on the field, but I'm sure many of these Canadian athletes could play that isolation section just as well. Oh, that one just redeemed. Fantastic reaction from Florence Taves. Being a little bit lost, but pockets through to Piri. Nice to see her back on the field after taking that injury with the huge layout. Now Cheer, can they continue the break through the back of the zone? High but fine for Henriquez. Cheer. Oh, I thought that was going. Just the soft dish instead to Henriquez. Adding some extra French flavour to that surname. Cheer again with the head tilt, high release flick. That's going to sail over Zoe Forget, not allowing any options or opportunity there for Hazel Piri.
I think Cheer just getting frustrated there and wanting to end that point. It was, I don't think that shot was really on. Really struggling to get this, I'm calling it a French wall. There's kind of one person on the mark and a line of 3 players, and they were doing well with those 1-yard pop passes, the Canadians, but it's a long way to work at the whole of the field doing that.
Well, patience is not something you see every day in a junior team. Can be easier to frustrate younger athletes. But of course at this level, we know they have ice in the veins, nerves of steel, all those little sayings. I'm liking the spacing though here from the French offense. That one not going to work out though. That's nearly a greatest attempt from Lucie Caron, but not to be. They apply the zone once more. We had a responsive zone from this Canadian line, which is an intriguing choice. And a quick setup to boot. Taves across. It's a nice gainer to Cheer. He doesn't have anybody running towards the end zone, which he gets possession. Great adjustment from that front set. But they break the mark of Lacoste Lefebvre. Again, one of these players we're seeing a lot for the French lines. Now that wall trying to close in. Oh, there's a hand block high! Fantastic, Lucie Caron. After being unable to reel in that adventurous forehand, it never came back in. Great mark to stop those wide open players from getting the disc. Lacoste Lefebvre. Around to Caron, clap catch layout, just make sure. Now Monera. Lacoste Lefebvre emerging from the stack. Forget, tight window. Oh, there's a stumble though. Enriquez unlucky there. I'm not sure if there's any kind of call. Maybe a stamped toe of some such.
Haven't really seen any signal of a call.
Is it?
If I step on
If it?
same team.
It's so you're calling injury?
No, I'm not, but like it doesn't affect, right?
Yeah.
So no call there. Enriquez just unfortunate. I think got taken out, maybe an ankle grab by the lawn monster. He's had his morning sleep disturbed by all of these early morning mows to keep the fields here nice and fresh. Really unfortunate there. But my goodness, well that is 4 in a row. A 6-break tally now for the French women.
And this, just you can't throw through that wall, impenetrable at times when they've set up. I think just frustration from the Canadians trying to find a way through it. And we see this ankle-breaking cut here for Camille Blanc. And you know, the zone is very effective because it allows Forget and Blanc to be on the field, but they're in the backfield, not having to work too much. But then when they get possession, that's when they can really use their speed. So not only doing a great job up the front of the wall, slowing Canada down, but it often allows you to cross over players, go out there, be deep. You're not going to have to run too hard. But when we do get the disc and a break opportunity, you're there to finish it. And this is 10-8. What an incredible run from France.
Really, truly. I mean, especially in the manner with which they've done it. Again, we talked about the conversion rate and the perfect conversion rate of this French D-line. So the break opportunities have been just 8. 6 for 8, a 75% conversion rate for France's D-line. You look across the board, of course, the Canadians, the points they've had, still a very strong conversion rate as well, that's 80%. But those extra chances for the French.
They scored 5 in a row here, France. Canada were 8-5 up, and I remember their coach saying to me at the start of this game, this is the most dangerous scoreline in Ultimate.
That's true. But the Canadians still, I'm sure, taking every point one at a time. 0-0, game to 1. Because there's plenty of clock left to grind this one out. Just under 20 minutes remaining of regulation time. Blanc looking hungry.
And this kind of is a different zone from France. We're only seeing 3 up top as opposed to the 4 we saw last time. Maybe more of a kind of traditional cup.
Well, they find a way around it to Coppes. Thinks about that quick one, dishes instead for the bounce cut. Love that move from Lyonnaise. Oh, and our first look at an overhead for the game, and it's going to be for a goal. Nice bit of vision there. Jacquetin on the far sideline with the goal.
Lyonnaise uncorking that big hammer. French defenders just never get a read, but that is the first point of the second half for Canada. They needed that one.
It really is a true mirror image, isn't it, Liam?
Yeah, there was Canada that started off so well, and this zone, I think, not as good as that 4-person kind of zone they were playing. Now we see the big hammer, and you see the French defenders just undecided. Perez just flinging her hands up in the air, but inch perfect from Lyonnaise.
Yeah, why won't you throw one over Valerie? Over the stack. Over all the arms of the defenders. So fantastic work and response from Canada to punch their first on the board for the second half. Now a true mirror image here, Liam, would be for the Canadians to now go on a two-break run of their own, I should say.
Yeah, both teams gone on 5-0 runs. It was Canada the very start of the game, and it was France coming straight out of the second half. So
can the Canadians apply the pressure? For your high dish over the head of Young. Maya. Just weaving their way through. Mabekon Diasson leading that hair out of the way. Happy to throw the negative yards here. Really lovely switching, but not on the second option. Mabekon Diasson racing through. They choose the more simple version, but it's going to be an overthrow. Blanche Bardin doesn't put herself underneath it. And that one will sail away for an opportunity for the Canadians.
Yeah, we see this side stack again from the Canadian D-line. This time I think it's Young isolated, but the deep shot trot doesn't come.
Yeah, really active mark there from Lali Maya. Now Enrique, power position, but just throws a simple one to Mo. Then all the way around, little slide for Toews. Now back to Mo. Pops for Young. Attacking and challenging the force all the way around. That one's going to be a smackdown though. A little bit of adjustment on the run for Lali Maya.
Looks like a foul is called. Looks accepted. Not sure if it would have usually affected. Maybe the throw would have been a little further out in front.
Well, you'll have to do it again, but better. Yeah, this time it slices through, clean as a whistle that time. Blanche Bardin squeezing that one.
Now, this French O-line's really been struggling is with cuts downfield. Sometimes they're pulling out of it, they're hesitating, but not on this one, no hesitation.
Well, no hesitation needed. Fantastic early movement from Maëlys Troyot. Now just looking around and, of course, backing up her own throw. Mabekon Diasson with a little cheeky head tilt. She's thinking about, well, it was a hammer before that worked, and this time it's spoiled. Florence Toews gets in the mixer.
Oh, she just wanted a hammer of her own there. It looks like
she was tilting her head repeatedly. You knew she wanted to throw that one. A little bit of swaz in it. Mo rips it. That one's got a lot of air underneath it though. Plenty of opportunity and just a delicate finger touch needed from Romain Dallaire to take it away. Mabekon Diasson stepping up to the hockey. Massive poach off, but it's going to be an immediate timeout call. She wants to take a little bit of a break for some light relief here, as this point starts to grind on. 4 turnovers total, 2 apiece. And can they clean it up by having a chat with their coaches? Well, we will find out how this second half will play out in a few moments.
For the first time in 8 years, the WFDF World Ultimate Championships are here. The best athletes from 23 countries across the globe are headed to Australia to represent their nations in a competition for pride, prestige, and gold. Ultiworld is bringing you exclusive coverage of Worlds from the Gold Coast. See who is truly the best in the world. It all starts August 31st.
Well, it's not quite as sunny as the Gold Coast in Australia, but Birmingham's doing its best here. Late stages of this women's pool match between Canada and France, all about advancing into power pools with as much as you can. Big poach off from the lane exploited by the French women. Maillard. This for an offensive hold. Bardin now. Back to Mabé-Candiasson. Through. Lovely dishing. And Mabé-Candiasson again putting the team on her back. Will be pulled for a pick call though.
I feel like France have scored twice every time with these pick calls.
Well, this is why your coaches make you do that weird format where you have to score and then score again. But it's going to be Mabé-Candiasson this time with the dish through. Bardin hitting the deck and collecting a score. That is another on the board for the French women. They retain their lead 11-9 over the Canadians, who started so well.
I think a good timeout call there by French. Just looked tired at that point and gave themselves an opportunity to catch their breath and came out with some clinical offense out of the timeout. That was the first time they scored that point, but a bit of deja vu there as we see them scoring it for the second time.
Or a different way round. And of course, Carolina Mabé-Candiasson, after her break and return to Frisbee, it's also she will also be playing with Yaka this season. We've seen her already on that club scene with the seniors, running the show. Got herself the Elite Invite Championship earlier on in the European season. Of course, they changed the way they do things here for the club teams in the European division. They have to now play all these points through, get rankings to get yourself all the way, but 8 stats total for her senior club side, and really running the show here. Oh, the flag waving high for the French as they've resurged here on the showcase field. All the way across, massive pressure. Well, this is very reminiscent of how the Canadians were playing defense on the French to start off the game, on every shoulder. Lacoste Lefebvre now, and a huge hand block for Perez. My, oh my. Just so close to the goal line. It's just too easy, isn't it? Zoe Forget with another to add to her tally for the tournament. That's now 3 goals, 2 assists, and 1 big old block for Forget.
The French resurrection, we're witnessing it here, folks. They're pumped up right now. And suddenly they're 3 points up after being 5 points down in this game. What a turnaround. Perez has been sensational, just read this one coming. You can see her signaling to the open side, and she decided to jump across and take that one away. And see, having Forget on your D-line just gives you so many options downfield.
So Guenoun throwing up a dime into the end zone, but yeah, this really has been Aurel Perez's game. Absolutely sensational. As we say, she made a huge impact at the Joint Junior Championships, bringing 9 goals, 5 assists for a 14 total. A bit more quiet in Padova, but it's really about her blocks. That's the difference she makes for this team. And of course, we don't have enough tournament staff to catch blocks throughout the tournament and put those in our system one day. But it's a pleasure to have you with us, folks. The Canadians trying to fight their way back into this game. They were so good in the first half, but that's just a little bit symptomatic now. Lacoste-Lefebvre picking up cool as a cucumber.
Yeah, glitch in the matrix there. Canada just completely getting it wrong.
Forget trying to get a bit greedy, but that's a big drop. Nearly the recovery, though, for Agathe Cloza. And a little bit of oxygen.
Exchanging gifts here, the French and Canadians.
Oh, that might be a bit too tricky for Coppes to bring in, and it is indeed. So on the front cone, Canadian sideline almost falling over, not Canadian sideline, French sideline almost falling over their bottles with excitement. Florence Taves with a big job to stop Lacoste-Lefebvre. Solid poaching, trying to play team defense. Monaghan running out of options. Oh, that's a really big block. The foul will be called, though. There's no opportunity there for Addison Wood to have seen Forget coming from that right side, the way she was positioned.
Ended up kind of blindsiding Forget. Did not see it at all. See her poaching the lane, and not sure if this is a foul, but maybe dangerous play. You don't want to see that happen anyway. I don't know how both players could avoid it.
Well, it is tricky when you're poaching in that lane to do it, as you say, with your hips and shoulders face on to the thrower, and to also be able to move dynamically and actively sideways like that. But we're going to take a brief moment of repose here in the booth, but don't go anywhere, folks, because of course this spicy second half will continue after these brief messages. Second half here in the women's division. Pool play as Canada and France are tussling it out here. We've just had a call on the field, just looking at some media. A throw into the poach, or the poaching zone, I should say. And Addison Wood has come off the field, is being attended to by the medical staff here on the Canadian side. I have a feeling after the length of the discussion, Liam, it's probably going to be coming back.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the resolution should be either. Maybe it's dangerous play. I'm not sure who's at fault, if anyone's at fault. You want to avoid contact if you can. They've been discussing this for 2 minutes now. During that injury, they were discussing the whole time. Game advisors getting involved here.
So a contested foul. Indeed, it shall come back into the hands of Monaghan. Hopefully, Word will be able to be attended to by the physios and come back to play for the rest of the tournament. But definitely can't say there wasn't a high level of effort replaced by Coppes. So, Forget, no stranger to injuries herself, dancing around big, poach in the lane. Plenty of room on that break side.
Yeah, the back of the stack completely left isolated there, and poach in lane kind of done this quite a lot. Now getting involved is Perez, who was the poach player a moment ago.
Bonava squeezed on the goal line. Got a high advantage there. A little bit late, but a gallop over the end zone line. Catch in midair for Camille Blanc, and that will put France within 2 of points cap with 2 minutes left to go. Wow, what a difference in this game, Liam.
Yeah, that's an 8-1 run for France now.
It's a bit of a long point there, of course, with that sort of injury substitution as well. Get another look at that little gallop over that left leg. Thankfully landing in a good fashion. But of course, to wind our minds back, that point opened up with just a straight up miscue from the Canadians. And I think it's about now the mental resilience, because they have the skills, these Canadian athletes, they really do.
I think they just lost their swagger a little bit. Looked a lot more joyous in that first half.
It's become so quiet. We haven't heard their cheers in the same fashion.
And that's what's testing your resilience. Can you, you know, be on the wrong side of an 8-1 run and stay positive, stay confident in your ability? There's clearly a fantastic side.
Well, at long last, I think we've got a point where some of the huger names of this French women's side are now having a rest on the sideline, though of course, like any good team at this international level, you've got lots of depth. But an opportunity, oh my goodness, another massive block. This time it's Soline Baron denying. She's putting a muzzle on the gun. A big arm. And so picking up Bergamashi. Bit of throw and go against this Canadian front four, just sagging in the lanes. Not really a true zone. It's a travel call. Bergamashi will get the disc back. Back in action, a bit of miscommunication, but what an absolutely denying bid. Henriquez. Oh no, I take that back, that's Le Chasseur. Maris. Been a little while since we've seen her grace the field. But it's cheer all the way across, a little bit too much gas on it. Nothing that Belanger can do about that.
I feel like that layout block really lifted the Canadians there, and I thought they were going to score that one. Time has gone as a sensational block, and that's just what they needed, even just that moment itself, to lift their spirits.
Well, this is all about grinding your way to try and get that easier way through, but as you say, Liam, time expired now. So if the French can put this one on the board, it will be still a game to 15. And of course, points mean prizes. But that's another fantastic block, but taken back by Soline Baron, just believing all the way through. Stretching up line, but this time it is going to work out. They've run out of room, and Cheer getting horizontal.
Feels like this is layout practice right now for the Canadians.
Blocks the clock. I make it 10 past 6 local time. Popping and across. That one just thrown to no man's land though, hitting the front cone almost.
Looking a little tired there, Canadians. At least they're throwing prowess, and France will be delighted with this, because let's be honest, this is a weaker D-line who've managed to get 3 turns out of the Canadians so far and making that O-line work hard.
Well, we said it's all about just making sure that swagger can come back. Canadians doing all the right things, putting that pressure on and baiting the underneaths. Now, The French just trying to grind it through. That's a lovely up line for Anna Bergamashki. Power position, has the talent downfield. Iber Cholet looking for someone for a reset. Bergamashki just going over the end zone line, falling over afterwards, but wow, that number 15 shirt must be absolutely drenched.
It is 14-9 right now, game to 15. And what a performance here from the French D-line. Had to grind it up there. An incredible passage of play. Momentum, confidence, all with the French now. How did they turn this around, turn the game on its head? See some incredible play in that last possession. Gotta love this shot from the hip, takes out her 6 shooter and launches it to the end zone. Bergamashi will be delighted with that one.
Difficult catch as well, sort of the disc sitting on that back hip. You can see why she ended up on the floor afterwards. But wowee.
That was an upwind break from, you know, not the most well-known players on their D-line, and the French flag being paraded around the stadium. She could be playing in the next juniors edition, or maybe in a few years' time.
Well, the minimum age for a lot of these programs in their tryout selection is 14 in the year that the championships happen. Canadians have had a long time since their selections. They had their East and West tryouts back in October last year, made their selections in December. But at the moment, it's the retention rate of the French, and what a huge ball that was, Liam. Fantastic. You'll travel there. Well, ending us on a Callahan would be something super special, but no, it's just a bit of a misfire. Now, red zone defense. Can Canada bring the red and keep this game alive? Monera at the back, Lacoste Lefebvre trying to tempt that break side. It's an inside backhand and a tumbling goal, and it will finish us off here. Lucie Caron with the final catch of this match. 15-9, France over Canada. Can you believe it?
The resurrection game after being 5-0 down to win 15-9. The French never gave up. Saw the ends there, the wheels just came off the wagon for Canada. Not sure what happened, but it's this French flair that carries them to victory. You can see some of the open players cheering on their fellow countrywomen. Love to see it.
Well, I'm sure that in the Canadian huddle, the seasoned coaches will be giving conciliatory words. The way they played at the beginning of this game, the Canadian women just really setting up such fantastic blocks. I mean, that sort of final offensive point before this one for the Canadians, they had so many layout blocks, Liam. It was absolutely phenomenal.
Look at the joy on the face of Lucie Caron there. What a moment for her and this French side. It's just an incredible performance. I think just shaky at the start of this game. France went 5-0 down, weren't ready for the defensive pressure of Canada, but settled themselves and slowly work their way back into this game. I thought that zone they played was fantastic. Having those big players like Blanc and Bourget on the D-line helped them convert so many break chances. 10 out of 18, that's fantastic at this level.
Absolutely, imperfect conversions, 50% rate still, despite the fact that some of those points became a little bit scrappy and there must have been tired legs in there. Very respectable still for the Canadian side of things, though. They really did have opportunities that they took. They generated so many turnovers, but that of course will mean that France and the USA are silver and gold medalists from the joint juniors back in 2022, will be the only undefeated teams here in our women's division, so shaping up for perhaps a rematch of that final some years ago.
Yeah, so France will carry that victory into the power pools, and we'll see if we have a rematch against the USA. Canada looked like a really good team, but the wheels came off there. You saw the last 2 possessions from the O-line. Confusion who's catching the pull, an early pass turnover. Just, you know, I think this is something to learn, that moment, being on the live stream, having to dig deep to find a way to win a game. So hopefully they'll learn a lot from that. and you know they can still make the semi-finals, make the finals, so need to be able to shake off those last few points and get back in this competition.
Well, what those poor results, of course, mean for our power pool standing. So it will be, we'll talk about the other pool first. So the USA, Italy and GB advancing into Pool C, the upper power pool, and France, Canada and Japan. So commiserations to a very well-tooled, very well-fought New Zealand team that did not quite manage to make it the way through. But that is how it goes. So those are the teams with a chance at a championship medal in the later stages of this women's division. So we're going to get double trouble for our sideline interview that's just popping on the headset. It's going to be, well, we'll tell you who it is when we have them on camera. So, congratulations to both of you. We have the wonderful Caroline Mabekon-Dierson and, of course, Zoe Forget. What an incredible performance. How did you feel and what did you do when you were 5-0 down?
Wow, there's so much emotion right now. I think we just started, like we were used to win the game easily, and so here was the game that we needed to be ready for the finish of the competition. We're so happy right now, and what did we do? We just, you know, speak, and that's it. Like the coaches were just talking to us and tell us that we were able to make it, and so yeah, that's it.
Carolina, you mentioned that you stopped playing Ultimate. It sounds like you've given up for a while, but you've come back now.
Yeah.
What's it like to be back here at the World Junior Championships?
Yeah. Wait, can you repeat the question?
You mentioned that you'd given up playing Ultimate and you saw your teammates play, I think, in the World's final, and you've come back here to try and win the World Championships with them. What is it like playing in that game to be back with your team again?
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here. Like I'm so happy to have restarted Ultimate again. And I think I did well. I take a good decision, and so yeah, now I'm ready to beat the American. So yeah, it's just my goal right now.
Well, you've heard it here on our live stream. She's ready, USA.
Yeah.
Caroline, it's coming from you. Well, we've got a question as well for Zoe Forget.
Zoe.
Pop the headset to the other side. Zoe, welcome back to this stage. And so, Zoe, you were involved in a lot of big moments during the course of that game, and it's lovely to have you, no injuries out here on the field. How does it feel to be here at this level for the Junior Championships?
Je peux parler anglais. Je peux parler français ou pas?
Ah, c'est parfait.
Ok. Je suis contente. J'ai toujours mal au genou du coup. Mais je suis trop heureuse d'être là. J'ai eu un peu des doutes parce que cette année j'ai encore dû m'arrêter. J'ai repris là il y a 5 mois. Du coup je suis vraiment contente d'être là et d'avoir joué le Canada. J'ai trop hâte de jouer, d'aller encore plus loin. Et vraiment c'est une fierté d'être là et de représenter la France.
It's brilliant to see you back representing France for sure, and I'm very glad that you waited and took your time to come back and give us these amazing plays. So thank you so much for your efforts, and we will see you ladies, I'm sure, later on in the tournament. Congratulations on an amazing game. Bon match.
Merci.
Well, 2 athletes there with a lot of heart, a lot of soul, and so much talent. The development of this French juniors program, Liam, has been outstanding.
Yeah, they've come on leaps and bounds here, and just the belief they had after going 5-0 down to come back into this, never stop believing, and a fantastic interview there from the 2 French players.
Well, it really has been a journey indeed through the course of this match. After that 5-0 lead for the Canadians, it was all about the grind back. I mean, you've got to talk about the performance, of course, of FL Perez. Blocks all across the board. The Canadians still hung tough, though, putting every little moment into this one, but the final few moments were just all France. We'll see you tomorrow, folks. Don't go anywhere. But France taking the 15-9 lead over the Canadians here at WJUC.